Good afternoon, everybody. Today is a heavily overcast day. We have left one storm system. We now have another one on its way into Kansas right now. But it is rather nice outside for a January day, and so I'm enjoying what little time I do have available. The process, I'm going to review for you guys St. George Single Malt Whiskey. It is an American single malt whiskey from Alameda, California. St. George, of course, slayed the dragon. They named their distillery after him. I'll read to you the back of the bottle. Well, let me pour a little bit so it can be opening up just a hair. Well, I read to you the back of the bottle. It's a very unique single malt. Very unique. Plastic cork. St. George is, well, we'll get back to that in a minute. St. George is a distillery in California. This is a single malt. 8 years of dedication and passion have gone into developing this fine single malt. From the selection of top quality two-row barley to perfecting the slow distillation in the industry's smallest copper pot still. Every step has been perfected to provide you with a single malt as deep and complex as it is smooth and elegant. This is lot 7. This is an older lot. I don't know year-wise how many years ago, but it's been several years ago. I found this on the bottom shelf, a couple of bottles on the bottom shelf at a liquor store. I was unsure what it was, so I took a chance and bought it. I paid $36 for it, and I felt it was money well spent, actually. It's 43% alcohol by volume. It alludes to it being an 8-year-old, but I don't know if that means 8-year-old whiskey or 8 years of dedication and crafting to develop it. So I don't really know what that means. So it is what it is. It is light gold. Not very viscous, kind of thin. It does form some beading up along the very edge of the swirl. And there is slow development of tears coming down. There is a certain amount of viscosity to it, but not a lot. Nose. Get the graininess up front. Goes into watermelon. Vanilla. A little bit of spirit there, not much, not so much spirit drive, but just a little touch of spirit drive in there. A little bit of cherry. Light cherry. It's a very light spirit, it's not heavy. It's a great summer dram. This is middle of winter, warm day, but this would be really great in the summer, especially if you were on a hot day and you would, God forbid, put a piece of ice in this. I could see this really shining on a very hot day in the summer with a piece of ice in it, cool it down real cool. I think that would be I think that's where that would be very well received. Just a touch of oak. Mainly dominated by the watermelon and vanilla graininess. Two very upfront things. Pencil shavings and watermelon. Two very upfront things. The vanilla develops. We go into a dried apricot. Medium quick finish. Quick medium finish. It's somewhere between, it's not quite quick, it's not quite medium, it's in that first quarter there. And the finish brings The watermelon with the dried apricots. Fruity. It's very fruity. But the pencil shavings that you get up front, they fade quick. You're left with mainly the watermelon and the apricot. The vanilla kind of lingers here and there, but it's not very dominant at all in it. The cherries I got in the nose, I don't get in the palate. And there's a graininess, a little youthful graininess there you get. Not unappealing, but it's there nonetheless. It's a small craft distillery in California. They make something called Baller, St. George Baller, that was released, I think, last year or the year before last. It was very expensive. It was like $150, I believe. I would have liked to have somehow found a bottle, but that's not something I'm going to acquire here in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. This is their, I assume, standard single malt release. From what I know, I don't know much about the distillery at all. But it's very unusual. It's very interesting. It's very neat. I'm going to give it a score of 84. It's very drinkable. It'll be a great summer dram. And I can't say as to the prices of what it is now. I don't know anything about that. But if you could find it for $36, like I did, I don't think you'd be hurting yourself. I think it's worth $36. I've had a lot worse for a lot higher price, for sure. Well, we're done here. With that, I'm going to sign off. Remember, the spirit in your glass is not running from you. Take your time, sip it, enjoy it. You'll be better for it. Everyone, have a good afternoon.